Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Wrigley Field for my 1921 payoff pitch Cardinals replay, doing the National League as Bleacher Bums Gaming does the American League and the New York Yankees. Today is April 15th, 1921, and today the St. Louis Cardinals will play the second game of their series here in Wrigley against the Chicago Cubs. To let you guys know a little bit, as you can take a look, yesterday, the Cardinals were scheduled to play yesterday, but it was a rainout. So we did have a couple of games were played yesterday as Brooklyn defeated the Braves 7-2. Cincinnati beat Pittsburgh 7-4, and the Giants got revenge on the helpless Philadelphia Phillies 9-0. So right now, standing show at the end of a couple of days already, the Cincinnati Reds are already 2-0. In the standings in the National League starting this week, and Pittsburgh is 0-2. The Cardinals, of course, are 1-0 after destroying the Cubs yesterday in the last game 10-1. As I'm playing these games to catch up to Bleacher Bums Gaming, he just finished game 4 today, so now I'm going to go ahead and do game 2. Today's starting pitchers will be Tink Riviere for the St. Louis Cardinals and Speed Martin for the Chicago Cubs. I'm playing at a faster pace for these games before I catch up. But we will still introduce, we'll still introduce here the starting lineups for the St. Louis Cardinals here in game number 2. It is Cleve Heathcote batting first, Jack Fournier batting second, Milt Stock batting third, Rogers Hornsby, who went 0 for 5 yesterday, bats fourth, Austin McHenry bats fifth, Doc Lavin bats sixth, Pickles Dillhofer bats seventh, Specs Toperser bats eighth, and Tink Riviere, the pitcher, batting ninth. Defensively for the Cubs is Grimes at first base. Terry is at second base. The shortstop is Holliger. Third base is Deal, who made 2 huge errors yesterday in the first game. And left field is Barber. Center field is Maisel. The right fielder is Flack. The catcher is O'Farrell. And starting pitcher for the Chicago Cubs in this game will be Speed Martin. 11 wins, 15 losses, a 4.35 ERA, averages about less than 4 strikeouts, 3 walks, and half a homer per 9 innings. He gets the call for the Cubs today against the Cardinals. The Cubs try to even up the series, and the Cardinals will try to win this series, with a second win here. Wrigley Field, it is a wheelhouse of 1-63 for right-handers and 1-43 for left-handers. Pretty neutral park. Pretty much of a neutral park in both, and if you factor in both cases. So the Cardinals are 1-0. The Cubs are 0-1. Let's get things started. Leading off for the St. Louis Cardinals will be Cleve Heathcote. As I said, we're playing at a faster pace to catch up here, so the fanfare is kind of tuned down a bit. And it's Speed Martin starts with the ballpark, and that is a 69. That is a 69 on a lefty. That's going to be in play, though. And it's an 18. It won't matter. Cleve Heathcote is going to get himself a single. So the Cardinals start off with a base hit. He will hold it first. The steal rating for him is a 5. He's got, but with a de-stealing rating, he will not run. So he will hold it first. And here is Jack Fournier. And this is a 9. This is a patient. And a 95. And that is going to be a fly ball to right field for 1 out. Fournier goes down on a right field out. And the batter will be Milt Stock. Runner still at first base. Heathcote still at first. And here's the pitch to Stock. And this is an 8. This is a patient. It's a 77. And that one is going to be a fly ball to center field. Getting under that one will be Maisel. Makes the catch. 2 down. As Heathcote still at first. And that will bring up Rogers Hornsby. Hornsby was 0 for 5. I am keeping track of his stats. As pretty much Bleacher Bums Gaming is keeping track of Babe Ruth, I will do my best to keep track of Hornsby. So here's the pitch to Hornsby, 0 for 5. Let's see if he opens up, gets himself a hit. At 9, it's a patient. It's a 91, and he will not do it there. That is a ground out to short. And a quick inning is over for the Cardinals, but they get no runs on a hit. And 1 man left on. Bottom half of the first inning for the Cubs, Tink Riviere, or I'm thinking it's Riviere is how it's pronounced, gets the start for the Cubs. 1 win, no losses, a 6.1 ERA. He only started 2 games for the Cardinals, and this was one of them early on in the season, according to the starting lineups. The Cubs pretty much have the same exact lineup they had in game number 1. So here is Max Flack leading it off for Chicago. And this is a 7. This is a patient. It's going to be a 39. And Max Flack is going to start with a leadoff base hit. His steal rating is a 4. He will not. His lead rating is a 4. He will not run. And the batter will be Charlie Hollinger. Leadoff hit for the Cubs, Tink Riviere. Here's the pitch. This is an 8. This is a tough. It's an 87. And that's going to be a ground out to second. That is an 8. They're only going to get and the double play is 5 and 7. It's an 8. They're going to only get the fielder's choice as Flack is thrown out at second base. Hollinger does make it to first. And the next batter for the Cubs will be Zeb Terry. Hollinger on it first. Steal rating, lead rating of 3. He will not get up. He will not do. Zeb Terry will go ahead and hit away. Here's the pitch. It's a 7. It's a patient. It's a 96. And that's going to be a fly out to left field for the second out. And here's Ray Grimes. Hollinger still on at first base. And the pitch is a 6. It's a patient. That's a 75. And Grimes is going to get a base hit. That's a single. A run rating of 6, though, so I got to run the card. That is a sharp liner that drops in front of left field. Runner at first advances 1 base, so Hollinger will hold at second. So he does not automatically advance to third on with 2 outs there, as Ray Grimes does pick up a single. Second hit of the game for the Cubs, and that will bring up George Mazel. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. And this is a 10. This is an in-play 92. That should do it. Fly ball to left, and the inning is over. No runs, 2 hits for the Cubs. As we will go to the top of the second inning. Top of the second, leading off for the Cardinals will be Austin McHenry. He gets his first cuts starting in this 1921 season. He was not on the lineup yesterday on the 13th. Here's the pitch from Steve Martin. This is a 9. This is a patient. It's an 86. This one is a ground out to short. One man out, and the batter is Doc Lavin. This is an 8. This is a patient. It's a 45. And Doc Lavin's going to get himself a base hit as he hits this one into center field. And that will bring up Pickles Dillhofer. Pickles Dillhofer. Yeah. Gotta love those 1920s baseball names. Lavin is not really a stealing threat. He will hold. Pickles Dillhofer will bat away. Here's the pitch. This is a 5. This is a tough. It's a 21. And Dillhofer, swing and a miss, struck him out. Two men out. And the batter is Specs Toperser. Lavin still on at first. 2 outs here. Here's the pitch from Speed Martin. That's a 6. That's an in-play 56. And that's going to be a ground out to third. No runs, but a base hit for the Cardinals. As right now the Cubs are playing a little bit better than they did yesterday. In the game, they had 4 errors, which really hurt Chicago. 4 errors, and that's actually the first time I've ever had 4 errors in any game I've played so far. But in 1920s, fielding wasn't that as important as some people think it was. Of course it was, really, but errors were actually easy to come by. Bottom of the second inning here, Tink Riviere comes on the mound for the Cardinals, and we have Turner Barber leading off for Chicago. Always a heated rivalry between these two. Here's the pitch to Barber. This is a patient. It's a 15, and it's a walk. Turner Barber gets the base on balls. And the batter is Charlie Deal, who made 2 errors for Chicago yesterday in the first game of this series. Deal looking to make up for it. Here's the pitch. This is a 10. This is an in-play 65, and that's going to be a grounder to second. Deal's double play rating is a 5. Riviere's is a 5. It's a 10. They will get Barber out at first. Deal gets Barber out at second. Deal is safe at first on the fielder's choice. And the batter will be Bob O'Farrell, with 1 out now in the bottom of the second inning between these two. Here's the pitch. This is a 3. That's a patient. It's a 60, and that's a fly out to right. 2 men down. And the batter is Speed Martin, the pitcher. Not a bad hitting pitcher, too. 269 against lefties and 213 against righties. Remember, in the 1920s, pitchers could hit very well. Good hitting pitchers was pretty much important back in the day, before the time of the designated hitter, and, of course, the time where our pitchers just basically go up there as strikeout fodder. 2 outs. Here's the pitch to Martin. That's a 6. That's a patient. That's a 45. That is a 45, and that's going to be a ground out to first to end the inning. So no runs and no hits. There was a walk, but that was all. We go to the top of the third inning. Still no score here between the Cardinals and Cubs, 1921. Tink Riviere will lead off for St. Louis in the top of the third inning. As I'm playing National League Cardinals, Bleacher Bums Gaming is playing American League Yankees. He has Babe Ruth. I have Rogers Hornsby. Here's the pitch to Riviere. That's going to be an in-play 43, and that's going to be a pop out to third. 1 out. Top of the order for St. Louis. Here's Heathcote. And the pitch. This is a 10. This is an in-play 51, and that's a ground out to third for the second out. And now here's Jack Fournier. This is an 8. This is a patient. It's a 74. And Jack Fournier is going to get a 2-out base hit. It's a single. He hits this one to left center field. Fournier holds it first. And that's his first base hit of the game. And the batter will be Milt Stock. Two men out, top of the third. And this is a 4. This is in play, 19, and that's going to be a single for Stock. Jack Fournier has a run rating of 8. He will automatically make it to third with 2 outs. And now the Cardinals got something going on here. And the batter is Rogers Hornsby, and he's still looking for his first hit. Matter of fact, he's still looking to get on base for the first time in the season. He's 0 for 6. So a chance for Hornsby to try to bring in some runs. Here's the pitch. And that is a 5. That's a tough. It's a 30. And Rogers Hornsby, swing and a miss. He strikes out. Runners at first and third, and he can't get him in. No runs. 2 hits. As right now, Hornsby is off to a horrible start. For a guy that batted almost 400 in 1921, he needs to wake up. That's the end of the inning. Go to the bottom half of the third. Tink Riviere comes out to pitch for St. Louis. We are at the top of the batting order for the Cubs in Max Flack. And this is a 7. That's a patient. That's a 64. And that's a fly out to left. 1 out. And the batter will be Charlie Hollicher. Hollicher grounded out his last time up. He's 0 for 1. This is a 7. This is a patient, 0-9. That's going to be a walk. Hollicher draws ball 4. And the batter now is Zeb Terry. Steal rating is a 3. He will not run. And here's the pitch. This is a 7. It's a patient. It's a 50. And that's going to be a ground ball to first. Let's see what happens here. Terry's double play rating is a 5. Rivera's a 5. A 7's on the board. His only play is the second base. Hollicher is out. Terry gets the first. But we now have 2 down. And the batter will be Ray Grimes. So far, a much different game between the Cardinals and Cubs than the first one. Here's the pitch. And this is a 6. That's a patient. That's a 59. And Ray Grimes going to belt one into the outfield. And that's going to be a double. Zeb Terry's run rating is a 7. I do not need to pick a card. As he hits this one into the right field corner, Zeb Terry will come around to score. And the Cubs have a 1-0 lead as Ray Grimes gets a big 2-out double. And the Cubs are on the board. And here's George Mazel. And here's the pitch. That's a 6. That's a patient. That's a 43. And George Mazel gets hit by the pitch. He gets plunked in the shoulder. He'll go to first. And now runners at first and second with 2 outs. And here's Turner Barber. This is a 5. This is an in play. It's a 68. And that one's going to be a ground ball to short. He gets it. He throws to second to get the force, and that will end the inning. But the Cubs score 1 run on 1 hit, a couple of walks, and the Cubs have a 1-0 lead. We go to the top of the 4th inning. 1-0 lead for the Cubs. Speed Martin is up the bat, is on the mound. And here's Austin McHenry for St. Louis. And real quick, we will do a quick shuffle, even though we only drew a couple of cards. So here's the pitch from Martin to McHenry. And it is a 10. That is an in-play 16. And McHenry is going to have himself a single on that one. He goes to first on a base hit. And it will be Doc Lavin, the batter. That is an 8. That's a patient. And that is a rare play. So we got to go to the rare play chart. And it's a runners on base rare play. And that is a 5. And reroll 2d6. If total is equal to or higher than the pitcher's hold rating, balk is called. Runners advance one base. Well, we go ahead. We number is a 7. Speed Martin's hold rating is a 9. Otherwise, no balk is called. Reroll and use in play. Okay. So we re-roll, so it's an automatic in-play result. So that means I just re-rolled the dice, and it's going to be a 6, and that actually helps St. Louis. That's going to be a double. Re-roll and use in play. That is a double for Doc Lavin. So let's see what we get here. That is an opposite field shot into left field. Runners advance 2 bases. McHenry will get to third and will hold there as Doc Lavin gets himself a big double to move the runners over. Second hit given up by Speed Martin. Runners at second and third with nobody out, and the batter is Pickles Dillhofer. Pickles struck out his last time up. Still can't get over that name. Runners at second and third. They're going to call infield in on the play. So here's the pitch to Dillhofer. And that is a 6. That's an in-play 33. And he popped it up right behind the plate. Coming over there is O'Farrell. He makes the catch. A huge pop out. 1 down. One thing you couldn't have right there. Here's Specs Toperser. I'll probably pronounce Toporser, I guess. Runners at second and third. Infield still in. That's a wheelhouse 68. And that's going to be a ground out. That's a ground ball to short. And it's 11 and 12, and re-roll all 4 dice and refer to infield in play at home chart. So let's see what happens. That is a 7. Compare the 2d6 total to the runner's run rating. If equal to or less than the run rating, the runner is safe. So Austin Henry's run rating is an 8. It's a 7. The runner is safe. Batter is safe at first, and other runners advance 1 base. So McHenry scores on the infield in. Toporser is on first base. Lavin goes to third, and the Cardinals are on the board. It's 2-1. And that goes as an infield hit. Messed up my board a little bit here. Fix it. 1 out. Runners at first and third. The batter is Tink Riviere. The Cubs will now play infield normal, as the run is now in for the Cardinals, and they tied this game at 1. Here's the pitch to Tink Riviere, the pitcher, and that is an 8. That's a patient. That is a 46, and Riviere is going to draw the walk, and the bases are juiced. And still 1 out here for the Cardinals. Top of the batting order now for the Birds, and it's Cleve Heathcote. Heathcote is 1 for 2. Here's the pitch. Bases loaded. It's a 6. That's an in-play 87, and the infield was playing back. It's a ground ball to second. Heathcote's double play rating is a 6. Speed Martin's is a 5. Is a 5, so a 6. So the only play is to second base. So they get the out at second, as the infield was playing back. As I said, they were going for the double play, which means Doc Lavin scores. Riviere is out. Heathcote's on at first, and it's 2-1 Cardinals. There's Bears Den. He's back. We're in the top of the fourth inning there, Bears. Then it's 2-1. Cardinals just scored on a fielder's choice. 2-1 St. Louis. Much different game so far than the first one. I thought I'd go ahead and get some more games in here, try to catch up to Bleacher Bums Gaming. But they're now 2 outs. DePorcer's on third. Heathcote's on at first. And here's Jack Fournier. He singled his last time up. Here's the pitch. It's a 6. It's an in-play 0-9, and that's going to be a base hit for Jack Fournier. Heathcote's run rating is a 9. He will automatically make it to third from first. Fournier goes to first. DePorcer scores, and just like that, it's now 3-1 Cardinals. And once again, Cubs fans are getting a little bit anxious. So runners at first and third now, but 2 outs, and the batter is Stock. Cubs now trying to get out of this inning. And this is a 10. That's an in play, and that's not going to do it there. That's going to be a double for Milt Stock as he hits this one. And Jack Fournier's run rating is an 8, which means a double. He will score from first. And although the Cubs got out to a quick 1-0 lead early, the Cardinals come right back, clear the bases, and now lead 5-1. As Stock gets a nice double. And continues the inning here in the top of the fourth. A 5-run inning for the Cardinals. And the batter is Rogers Hornsby, who is now 0 for 7 to start the season. He has yet to even get on base. So I'm trying to do a Rogers Hornsby kind of replay with the Cardinals, and so far, he hasn't done nothing. Here's the pitch. That's a 10. That's an in play, and he still won't do nothing. That's a fly out to center field. Maybe I should send him down to the minors. That's the end of the inning there. 5 runs on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits and a walk. As Hornsby is 0 for 8 to start the 1921 replay. And the Cardinals did bat around again. They batted around in the first game too. Bottom of the fourth inning, the Cardinals lead the Cubs 5-1. Here comes Tink Riviere for St. Louis to pitch. As once again, the Cubs get victimized by the hit. Here's Charlie Deal leading off for Chicago here in the bottom of the fourth. That's a 5. That's an in-play 72, and that is a fly out to center. Here's Bob O'Farrell. That's a 7. That's a patient. It's an 85, and that's a ground out to short. And now here's the pitcher, Speed Martin. And that is a 10. That's an in-play 55, and that's a ground out to third. And a very quick inning for the Cubs as they get nothing at all in the fourth. 1, 2, 3, go the Cubs. We go to the top of the fifth. Still 5-1 St. Louis. St. Louis batted around in the last inning, so here's Austin McHenry batting to start the fifth inning. That is a 6. It's an in-play. It's a 60, and that's a ground out to third. And that will bring up Doc Lavin. Lavin is 2 for 2, single and double. That's a 9. That's a patient, a 41. Lavin's going to get his third base hit of the game. That's a single. He is 3 for 3. And that will bring up Pickles Dillhofer. Pickles. Yeah. Gotta love it. Lavin not going to try to run. You're up by 4 runs. So here's the pitch to Pickles. And that is an in play. That's a 94. That's going to be a fly out to left. And now here's Specs to Porcer. Two men out. And that is a 7. That is a tough. That's an 0-5. And that is a strikeout. As you're noticing, my games are moving along pretty quick because I'm not doing my normal presentation. I'm just trying to catch up here. But no runs on a hit for St. Louis. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Still 5-1 Cardinals. Tink Riviere comes on the mound. Top of the batting order for Chicago and for Max Flack. This is a 6. That's a patient. It's a 24, and that's going to be a base on balls. Charlie Holliker will back next. He's reached base twice. This is a 9. That's a tough. It's a 63. And that's going to be a ground out to short. Holliker's double play rating is a 7. Rivera's is a 5. It's a 9. They get the fielder's choice. Holliker is safe. Flack is out. 1 down. Here's Seb Terry, Steeler fan. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Playing another game here in the series between the Cardinals and the Cubs. Trying to catch up to BBG. He's done 4 games. This is my second. Not doing a full presentation, but playing strong. Here's the pitch to Terry. This is an 11. That's a ballpark 40. That's going to be a wheelhouse. It's a 52, and that is going to be a line out. A line drive hit right. Actually, it's a 2, so you can't really line drive it to the catcher. So in this case, I popped this one up. So this is a pop out to the catcher. And that is the second out. He pops it out. Two men away. The batter is Ray Grimes. Holliker's still on at first base. Here's the pitch. And that is a 4. That is a defense, 63. An error check to shortstop. So the ball is hit. The ball is hit to Lavin. Lavin's error rating is a 2. A 1 to 68. It's a 63, and it will be an error on Doc Lavin. See what kind of error it is. That's a 1-base error. Holliker goes to second. Grimes is on at first. And that's the first error on the Cardinals. 2 outs. Runners at first and second for George Mazel. As Grimes gets the first on an E6. Moves Holliker to second. Cubs got something going on here in the bottom of the 5th. Tink Riviere, here's the pitch. That's an 11. That's another ballpark check. That's a 48. That's wheelhouse. It's a 60. That won't do it. Fly ball to right field. Just not deep enough. As Mazel flies out to right and strands the bases. So no runs. And there were no hits. A couple of walk and an error. And that does it. As once again, the Cubs let these base runners just go by the board. 5 innings in the books. Still 5-1 St. Louis. Top of the 6th coming up. Leading off for the Cardinals is Tink Riviere. He's pitching a good one again. St. Louis pitching did very well in the first game. Doing well here in the second game. Pitch from Speed Martin. That's a 5. That's a tough. That's an 88. And that's a ground out to short. And that will bring up Cliff Heathcote. Heathcote single and grounded out twice. That's a 5. That's a tough. That is a 68. That's a ground out to short as well. And the batter now is Jack Fournier. That is an 8. That's a patient. That's a 68. And Jack Fournier is going to get a single. That is his 3rd straight hit. And he is 3 for 4. And he has also scored once. Fournier is still rating a 5. The dice is an 8. He will not go. And the batter will be Milt Stock. Fournier on at first. There's the pitch to Stock. This is a 4. This is an in play. It's a 33, and that will be a single from Milt Stock. Jack Fournier's run rating is 8. He will make it to 3rd with 2 outs. Stock is on at first. And once again, another chance for Rogers Hornsby with men on. Rogers Hornsby for the start of this for this replay, 0 for 8. He has yet to get even on base. He's got zeros across the board. 2 outs. Runners at 1st and 3rd. That is a 4. It's an in play, a 32, and that will finally break the streak. Rogers Hornsby has himself a base hit. It's a single. Milt Stock will go to 3rd. Fournier will score. Hornsby has his first base hit of the season. Has his first hit of the season. It is now 6-1 Cardinals. And runners still at 1st and 3rd with 2 outs. Here's Austin McHenry. Speed Martin still pitching. And I think that's nope. That's gonna be it for Martin. He's actually reached his fatigue. That is it for Speed Martin. He is done. They will take him out before they pitch to McHenry. So Martin is out of there. And they will bring in Percy Jones to pitch. Remember also, starters did do relief work if necessary. So, in my opinion, everybody's available, no matter who it is. As long as they're on the 25-man roster. In the 1920s, a lot of starters came in for relief. Percy Jones did start 3 games, though, but he's more of a reliever here. So Jones will come in for Martin. As Martin leaves, giving up 6 runs. Runner still at 1st and 3rd. He'll pitch to McHenry. He has a long fatigue. So it's going to be 10. It's going to be 10 plus 6. So he can go 16 batters. Before he has to worry about fatigue. So here's Austin McHenry. Percy Jones is a lefty. That's a 7. That's a tough. It's a 78. And that one's going to be a fly out to center. And that will end the inning. But the Cardinals pick up a run on 3 hits as finally Rogers Hornsby gets his first hit of the season. And it only took about 9 plate appearances to do it. Little disappointed there. But I guess the Cardinals pitcher, I guess Cubs pitching knows how to deal with him. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Cardinals leading the Cubs 6-1. Tink Riviere has reached his point of fatigue, but he has not. So the next base runner he allows, he will be fatigued. As we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, as he's pitching actually pretty well. Here's Turner Barber leading it off for Chicago. This is an 8. It's a tough. It's an 11, and that is a walk, and that will do it for Riviere. He is now officially tired. So Riviere comes out for the Cardinals, and he pitched a beautiful game, though. And coming on to pitch for St. Louis will be Marv Goodwin. These 25-man rosters, as far as I know, are correct, according to Out of the Park Baseball, which is what I'm using to get the rosters. Marv Goodwin, 1 win, 2 losses, 3.72 ERA. He appeared in 14 games, 4 games started, and actually had a complete game. So Marv Goodwin will be the St. Louis pitcher, as he'll try to finish the game off if possible. He has a long fatigue rating, so it's going to be 10 plus 3, it's going to be 13. The next batter for the Cubs is Charlie Deal. No steal on the. There's going to be no steal attempt. You're down by 5 runs. Nobody out. There's the pitch from Goodwin. This is a 3. This is an in-play 0-2, and that is going to be a clean double for Charlie Deal. Deep drive to center fielder. 1 hops the wall. All runners will score. So Marv Goodwin comes in and gives up a double. And it is now 6-2. And the batter will be Bob O'Farrell. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th here at Wrigley Field. Here's the pitch. That's a 6. That is an in-play 74, and that's a fly out to center. And that is the first out of the inning. Marv Goodwin has a lot of in-play markers. He only had about 7 strikeouts all season long. Percy Jones has come up to bat, so I got to find his hitting card real quick. And there's Percy Jones' hitting card. He will bat. With 1 out and a man on second. Here's the pitch. And that is going to be a 9. That's going to be an in-play 0-4. And Percy Jones is going to have a single. That is a base hit. Let's see what happens here. That's a hard grounder into left field. Runner on second advances 1 base with a choice. Deal will hold at third. He will not attempt it. His run rating is only a 6. So he will hold at third. As Percy Jones comes up with a nice single to move the runner over. Let me tell you, like I said, as I said, guys, these pitchers can hit the ball. These pitchers can hit. Top of the batting order for the Cubs. Here's Max Flack. Runners at first and third. Infield playing back, looking for the double play. Goodwin's a 4. That isn't in play. 59. And it's going to be a ground, and they're going to get it. Ground ball to third. Max Flack's double play rating is a 7. Goodwin's a 7. The Riley's a 4. Throws to second. On to first for 2. And Marv Goodwin gets out of the jam with a double play. The right play was called. And the inning is over. But the Cubs do get a run on 2 hits and a walk. It's now Cardinals 6, Cubs 2. Hope everyone's enjoying our little game here. Not as crazy as I usually do. Percy Jones will come out for the top of the 7th inning here in this game between St. Louis and the Cubs. And I'll do a quick shuffle. I have a third, as I said, I've had a third fact deck. A Silent Air movie star, right? Yeah, could be. The third fast action deck coming. I'll have 3 of these things. So I'll have actually a set for 3 innings each, which is what I wanted. They'll save the shuffling and a little wear and tear on the cards. So Percy Jones will pitch for Chicago. For Chicago, he's got plenty of time. Leading off for the Cardinals in the top of the 7th is Doc Lavin. Lavin is 3 for 3. 2 singles and a double. Pitch from Jones is a 5. That's an in-play 0-3, and that is another double for Doc Lavin. He goes to second. He has been hot. Here's Pickles Dillhuffer. What do you guys think? A guy by the name of Pickles? Come on. Guys got to give me some sort of comment there. Here's the pitch from Jones. 7. That's a tough. That is a 52. And that's a ground ball to third. That's a ground ball to third. Doc Lavin will have to hold. The throw will go to first for 1 out. As Lavin will not go to third base on that roll. And here's Specs to Porcer. So Porcer is 1 for 3. It's a 7 from Jones. That's a tough. That's a 40, and that's a strikeout. Or is it a strikeout? No, I'm sorry. It's a left against lefty. Tough. It is not a strikeout, but it is a pop out to third base. 2 outs. Got to remember that Percy Jones is a lefty. Out top the third. Marv Goodwin is the batter, and he will bat. Got to find his card. One thing I love about payoff pitch baseball, they have a card for every batter that played on that team. It's his last name, Dillhuffer. They stretched him to give that nickname unless he really liked pickles. I know. I don't know. Don't know much about the guy. I might have to look him up. Here's Marv Goodwin. He will bat for the Cardinals. Doesn't do much there, really, but he will bat. And there are 2 outs. Here's the pitch. That's an 11. That's a patient 46. And believe it or not, he draws the walk. A 46 and a 1-46 versus left-handed batters is a walk. Marv Goodwin, I'm going to say that umpire missed the call, but that's a walk. And Percy Jones can't believe it. Runners at first and second now for Cliff Heathcote. And here's the pitch. That's a 6. That's a tough. It's a 35. And Cliff Heathcote is going to get himself a double. That is a double. Marv Goodwin I do have to draw the card here. Opposite field shot to right field. All runners score. So how big was that walk to Marv Goodwin? Doc Lavin and Goodwin both come in to score. Heathcote against lefties against the tough is a double. A 35 is the only double he can roll. 2 runs come in as the umpire may be missing that call, and now it is 8-2 Cardinals. Oh my. So 2 outs, runner on second. The batter is Jack Fournier. And I guess, is that it for Percy Jones? What are we in the 7th inning? Let's take a look at something here. He'll stay out there. He's not fatigued, according to the rule. So here's Fournier. 2 outs, runner at second. Fournier having a good game. He's 3 for 4. That's an 11. That's a patient 0-5, and that is a walk. So runners at first and second with 2 outs. And the batter now is Milt Stock. And Stock is also 3 for 4 today. 2 singles and a double. And it looks like that might have to be all for Jones. That's going to be it for Percy Jones. He is done for the game as they take him out. And coming into pitch for Chicago will be Sweetbread Bailey. He did pitch the first game, but that was 2 days ago, so he is fresh. He can pitch. So here's Sweetbread Bailey making his second appearance. With 2 outs. And here's Stock. It was his last name that led to his nickname. He died in February 1922. He died the next year. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Thank you there, Steeler fan. I'm glad you guys checked things out for me if I have any questions during the game. 8-2 Cardinals, top of the 7th. Milt Stock, Sweetbread Bailey, the new pitcher. And his fatigue is going to be just short. It's going to be 6. Here's the pitch. And that's a ballpark 39. And that is going to be wheelhouse. It's a 40. And that's going to be a single for Stock. That's a base hit. That is a base hit. Fournier's run rating is an 8. So he will get to third. Heathcote scores. Stock is on at first. And it is now 9-2. For the second straight game, the Cardinals are absolutely crushing the Cubs. And that will bring up Hornsby. Hornsby singled his last time up, got his first hit of the season in the last time up. Runners at first and third. 9-2 St. Louis. Here's the pitch. That's a 5. That's a patient. It's a 27, and Hornsby gets the walk. So he is now on base, and the bases are loaded. For Austin McHenry. McHenry is 1 for 4, singled earlier in the game. So bases loaded for Austin McHenry. Sweetbread Bailey trying to get out of this. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Here's the pitch. That's a 4. It's an in-play 22, and that is going to be a single. Hornsby's run rating is a 7. He will automatically make it to third. So Fournier scores, Stock scores, Hornsby to third, McHenry on first. And once again, the Cardinals are just running away with it against the Cubs. And the score is now 11-2, as the Cubs just can't get anything going at all and just can't get anybody out when it comes to it. And for the second time in this ball game, St. Louis bats around. Here's Doc Lavin, who doubled to start this inning. Here's the pitch from Bailey. And that is a 6. That's an in-play 78. That will do it. A fly out to center field. And the inning is over. Five runs on 1, 2, 3, 4 hits and a couple of walks. Bottom of the 7th inning coming up. Cardinals crushing the Cubs 11-2. Seventh inning stretch time. So let's go to the 10-minute ticker and see what's going on out there. Let's see what we have, people. Brooklyn is at the Boston Braves. That's a B versus B. That's a 10. B versus B, 2-6, 11. And that is a win for Brooklyn. That is a win for Boston. Boston wins that game 9-8. And Pittsburgh plays Cincinnati. The other game was rained out, so it was only two other games played on this date. Pittsburgh plays Cincinnati. Pittsburgh's an A, Cincinnati's a C. And Pittsburgh is the visiting team, so they play a C. 2-7. It's a 9. Cincinnati actually comes away with the win. They win that game. It's got a 9-9, so I re-roll. I just roll one die. It's going to be 13-9. As the Reds win that one, and they beat the Pirates. Meanwhile, the Cardinals are still beating the Cubs, and that's it for the 10-minute ticker for here. Short 10-minute tickers in 1921. There only were 16 teams, but I'm also only doing the National League, where Anthony at Bleacher Bums Gaming is doing the American League. So he'll be keeping track of the standings there for the AL. We go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. St. Louis with an 11-2 lead. Pretty much looks like they're going to run away with this one, run away with another ball game. But we play until it ends. Here's Charlie Hollicher. He leads off for the Cubs. Marv Goodwin still has plenty of fatigue left. Here's the pitch. That's an 8. That's a tough. That's a 60. That's a 60. And that's a ground out to short. One down. Here's Zeb Terry. Terry popped out his last time up. Here's the pitch. It's a 10. It's a defense, 59. That's going to be a range check to Lavin. His range is an A. He's an excellent range, 59, and he will make the play. A nice play by Lavin. He's got it. He throws to first for the second out. 2 down. And that will bring up Ray Grimes. Here's the pitch. That's a 7. That's a patient 24, and that's a walk based on balls for Grimes. And here's George Mazel. Two outs. That's a wheelhouse 56. That won't do it. Ground out to third. And the inning is done. No runs, no hits, a walk for the Cubs. But that is it. As right now, St. Louis is just owning Chicago in this series so far. We go to the top of the eighth. Cardinals 11, Cubs 2. Sweetbread Bailey is scheduled to be fatigued after two batters. He's going to come out. That'll be it for him. As the Cubs are just not getting anything from their pitching at all. Coming on to pitch for the Cubs now will be lefty York. York is a long reliever. And that's going to be a 13 batter. So 1, 2, 3, 4. York will probably be called upon to try to finish this game out. 11-2. I don't see the Cubs coming back here. So here's lefty York pitching for Chicago. 5 wins, 9 losses, 4.73 ERA. He actually started 10 games and actually had a save. Here's Pickles Dillhofer. He leads off here on the top of the 8th inning. That's a 7. It's a patient. 97. That's a fly out to left. And the batter will be Specs DePorcer. That's a defense 76 and a defense rare play, okay? So a defense rare play, the number is a 5. Fielder with a range of A to C makes highlight catch. So we find out what the fielder is, and that's a shortstop. And the shortstop for the Cubs is Holliker, and he will make it. He's a B. He makes a highlight catch. Nice play. So that comes as a line out to short. That's a line drive to short. And that's the second out, and that is the second out. And the next batter will be Marv Goodwin. He will bat with 2 outs here on the top of the 8th. That's a 7. That's a patient, a 24. And again, Marv Goodwin gets a base on balls. He walks again. Second walk. Good eye. A 2-out walk for Goodwin, and the batter will be Heathcote. It's a 7. That's a patient. It's a 15, and that's going to be a single for Cliff Heathcote. That's a base hit. Goodwin is a run rating of 5, so I got a draw. It's a hard grounder into right field. Runner on first advances 1 base, so Goodwin goes to second. As Heathcote gets his second hit of the game. And now the batter is Jack Fournier. Still 2 outs here, still top of the 8th. 11-2 Cardinals. Here's the pitch. That's an 8. That's a patient. 64. And that's going to be a base hit for Jack Fournier. That's a single. Marv Goodwin, with a run rating of 5, he has to hold even on 2 outs. Even though Cliff Heathcote has a run rating of 9, he would normally get to third. But because Goodwin's a slower runner, Goodwin has to hold. First let's find out. That is a line drive into center field. Runner on first advances 2 bases. Runner on second does score. So Goodwin does come in. Heathcote goes to third. Fournier is on first. And it is now 12-2 Cardinals. Cardinals just wrapping it up here. And the batter will be Milt Stock. Still 2 outs. Now 12-2 St. Louis. Here's the pitch from New York. That's going to be a 5. That's an in play, a 21, and the hits just keep on coming. Milt Stock is going to have a base hit. Heathcote scores from third. A run rating of 8. Fournier will make it to third. Stock goes to first. And it is now 13-2. And no, there is no mercy rule in baseball. And that is Stock. That is his 5th straight hit. He is 5 for 6. What a game he's having. And the batter now is Hornsby. Runners at first and third, 2 outs. Now 13-2. St. Louis. York still pitching. That's a 6. That's a tough. A 38. And that's going to be a pop fly ball to second. That is a pop out. And he pops out to second, and the inning is over. 2 runs for the Cardinals on 3 hits. 13-2 St. Louis. As they're just whitewashing the Cubs. Bottom of the 8th inning coming up. Marv Goodwin, he's still got a few batters left for us to worry about a fatigue. And it will be Turner Barber leading off for Chicago. I might get a 3rd game in here later, people, so be on the lookout. I might get a 3rd game in, trying to catch up to BBG. Here's the pitch to Barber. That is a 6. That's an in-play 70, and that's a ground out to short. Remember, I still have the Mets and the Astros tonight. 1994 season restart. Big game for the Astros. Mets are 3 games under 500. Here's Charlie D. That is a 9. That's an in-play, an 07, and Charlie Deal will get himself a triple out of that hit. That's a 3. That's the only triple he can get on an in-play. Charlie Deal has a triple. And next batter will be Bob O'Farrell. That's a triple for Deal. Keeping infield back. The Cardinals with a 13-2 lead. Really shouldn't have anything to worry about. Here's the pitch. That's an 11. That's an in-play. 17. And that's going to be a single for Farrell. O'Farrell gets a base hit. It will score Charlie Deal. And the Cubs get a run. And it's now 13-3 with 1 out. Lefty York is the scheduled batter, and they will let him bat because they're not going to – they're bringing in pitchers right now, and wearing out your pitchers doesn't make any sense to me. So here's Lefty York. He will bat for the Cubs. With 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning, 13-3. That's okay, Bears Den. There were plenty of great cards and dice games out there. Strat, Appa, Inside Pitch, Payoff Pitch, Fall Classic, Pine Tar. All excellent games. Every engine is different. The funny thing is every engine is different. Every engine likes to say that they all have the most accurate. Question I have is this: do you really want to see exact accuracy, or do you want to see a ball, or do you want to see what happens with that engine? If we were looking for total accuracy, if I wanted to have Rogers Hornsby goes ahead, if I wanted, I don't know if I play, because if I wanted Roger Hornsby to know he's going to go ahead and bat 398, 397, why even roll the dice? Every game engine is different. Every game engine has its rules. There's always a few tweaks. Even I've learned to tweak a few things here with Payoff pitch, but I'm still keeping to Joe Bryan's normal engine. Here's the pitch to York. That's a 6. It's an in-play 72, and that's a fly out to center. And that is the second out. And the batter will be Flack. The one thing I like about the reason why I chose Payoff pitch is because of the card quality and because pitcher and batter are used 95% of every dice roll. Stratomatic, you don't have that. It's either pitcher or batter. APA, it's only batter, and APA abstracts pitching. I got a problem with that. Inside pitch is pretty close. Inside pitch, pitcher and batter does come into play mostly, but sometimes the pitcher card decides the play. The batter doesn't get a chance. Same thing with Dynasty League. Same thing with Fall Classic. Payoff pitch, 95% of the die rolls, pitcher and batter have to be checked. Here's an 8. That's a tough. That's an 06, and that's an 06. Wow, Max Flack does not strike out. That's actually a double. That is a double from Max Flack. He avoids the strikeout from Marv Goodwin, and I have to draw the card for that. Looping liner to right field, all runners score. So Farrell does come in. Flack goes to second. So a double for Flack. That scores O'Farrell. So 2 runs come in now for the Cubs. It's now 13-4. Hammer time! And it is hammer time. 13-4. Cardinals over the Cubs here. Bottom of the 8th inning here at 1921 Cardinals replay. And you know what I'm doing here, hammer time. I'm going with Bleacher Bums Gaming's American League replay. And we will both play a World Series against each other's team champion. As I'm only doing National League, he's doing American League. So Max Flack on at second with a 2-out double. The batter will be Charlie Hollicher. As the Cardinals are whooping up the Cubs again. Here's the pitch. That's a 7. That's going to be a patient. A 40. And Hollicher's going to get a base hit. That's going to be a double as well. Hollicher gets a base hit. And suddenly the Cubs are scoring a few runs. Something they have not really done so far in this early in this season. Another run scores for Chicago, and now it is 13-5, and that's going to be it for Goodwin as he's reached his fatigue. So Goodwin is out, and the Cardinals will make a little bit of a pitching change. And they will bring in Bill Schertle. Or Schertle. Bill Schertle, 9 wins, 8 losses, 3.18 ERA, pitched 38 games, started 8 of them. And he will come in now here in the bottom of the 8th inning as the Cardinals are having a 13-5 lead on the Cubs. And yes, hammer time, I thought it was a great idea because he's doing Babe Ruth and the Yankees. I said, I'll do Rogers Hornsby and the Cardinals. Of course, Rogers Hornsby's off to a slow start. He's finally got a base hit in this game. But he's off to a slow start. Here's Zeb Terry. 2 outs now for the Cubs. And yes, and by the way, I'm still doing Mets and Astros at 8 o'clock. That's the primetime game, the 1994 restart. It's a 5 from Bill Schertle. That's a tough, that's an 0-2, and that is definitely, oh boy, wow, he's a lefty. Zeb Terry strikes out 1-4 on lefties, and he does there a rare strikeout for Zeb Terry against the left-handed pitcher, but he does get it. Schertle gets the strikeout on Terry, and the inning is done. The Cubs get 3 runs on 4 hits. It's still Cardinals 13, Cubs 5. Go to the top of the 9th inning. I don't know when I can fit it in. Yeah, I know, right? About Stratomatic. I mean, Stratomatic is the old standby. Just like Cards and Dice, Tony Cards and Dice says. Stratomatic and APA, Cold War games, pretty much. They've not really changed any of their engines, although they've added things to it. But they've never really changed their engine. Here's Austin McHenry leading it off for St. Louis in the top of the 9th inning. Lefty York still on the mound. And he still has about 7 batters till fatigue. Here's the pitch to McHenry. That's a 7. That's a patient 0-5, and that's a walk. As the Cardinals just keep on getting runners on base. Doesn't matter who's on the mound. Here's Doc Lavin. He's had an awesome day. He's 4 for 5, 2 doubles and 2 singles. As the Cardinals are really whooping it up on their arch rival Cubs. Here's the pitch. That's a 9. That's an in-play 54. And that one's a ground ball to third. Lavin's double play rating is his rating is a 7. York's is a 6. It's a 9. Fielder's choice. Lavin on at first. And McHenry is out. Here's Pickles Dillhofer. At least playing the games like this, they go a little faster. They're not 2.5-hour-long marathons, but I'm not doing my full presentation like I usually do, as I'm trying to catch up. We will get back to that later tonight. 1 out. Here's the pitch to Dillhofer. And that is an 8. That's a patient 73. And that's a fly out to center. 2 men down. And now it's to Porcer. That's a 6. That's a tough, a 20. That's a 29, and that is a strikeout onto Porcer. So Lefty York actually gets it done this time and retires the side. So no runs, no hits, a walk. But that was it for the Cardinals in this one. We're going to go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Bill Schertle had a long fatigue rating. I never really rolled for his fatigue. I'll do that now real fast. And that is 2 plus 10 is 12. Counting the batter he already got out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. But I don't think we'll have to worry. 13-5, Cardinals over Cubs. Ray Grimes leads off for the Cubbies here in the bottom of the 9th. And that is a 5. That's a tough. That is a 60. And that's a base hit for Grimes. He's got a single. Pitchers throwing tough hits, tough pitches, but batters getting them. And here's George Mazel. Nobody out, bottom of the 9th. 11, that's a patient, 26. And that's going to be a base hit for George Mazel. So he gets a single. Line drive into center field, runner advanced 1 base. There's Tony, he shows up. This is actually my second game of the day with these 2 teams. I'm trying to catch up to BBG. He's got 4 games in. I got to play 2 more, which I probably will do a 3rd game later. Runners at first and second with nobody out. Here's Turner Barber. And I'm not doing my normal presentation like I usually do because I'm actually just playing to get the game through. But I'm getting high scores. The Cardinals destroyed the Cubs in the first game. They're doing the same thing here. As I do Rogers Hornsby and BBG does Babe Ruth. Here's the pitch to Barber. That's a 10. That's a ballpark 37. That's going to be wheelhouse. And it's a 14, and Barber's going to blast this one into right center field. And that is going, and that is gone. Turner Barber gets a home run off of Bill Schertle, and that is a 3-run shot. As the Cubs pick up 3 runs here already, and the score is now 13-8. No, I'm not going to do his workout routine too. I'm too fat. (13-8) on a 3-run shot, and the batter is Charlie Deal. Going up against Schertle. Gives him a big home run there. But still 13-8. Schertle is still not reached his fatigue. So here's Charlie Deal. Deal, however, is 2 for 4 today. Double and a triple last time up. So here's the pitch. That's a 7. That's a tough 86. That will do that one. That's a ground out to short. That's the first out. Two men down, 1 man out. The batter is Bob O'Farrell. And I think I might see a pinch hitter here for the Cubs. Maybe they think they might have something. And Bob O'Farrell is he is the catcher. He's going to leave. Bill Killefer is going to come in and pinch hit. He bats better against the right hand. He bats better against lefties. And he will take over a catcher if necessary. So here's Bill Killefer coming in to pinch hit. One out, bottom of the 9th, 13-8. Here's the pitch from Schertle. That's a 10. That's a ballpark 40, and that's going to be in the wheelhouse of 59, but it won't go. A fly out to right. 2 outs. Lefty York is scheduled to bat, and they're going to bring in a pinch hitter for him as well, the pitcher. To go up against Bill Schertle. And it will be Tom Daly pitching for the coming out the bat for the Cubs. So now 2 men out. Tom Daly now pitching for Chicago. He bats .344 against the lefties. 13-8 St. Louis. Bill Schertle trying to get the game over with. And here's the pitch to Daly. That's a 7. It's a tough. It's a 95. That will do it. Fly ball to left field. Coming under that is Rogers Hornsby. He will make the catch, and that's the ball game. So they congratulate Bill Schertle on the mound, even though he did give up a home run. But that's a victory. 3 runs, though, on 3 hits for the Cubs. Let's take a look at the final line score for the game. For the Cardinals, 13 runs. 1, 2, 4, 9, 10, 13, 17. Wow, 20. 13 runs on 20 hits, 1 error. For the Cubs, 8 runs. 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 12. 8 runs on 12 hits and no errors. Tink Riviere does get the win. And Speed Martin does get the loss. So the Cardinals will go to 2-0. The Cubs will drop to 0-2. As the Cardinals take the second game of the series, 13-8. And that will do it. Everyone, Bears Den 007, Hammer Time, Cards and Dice TV, Steeler fan, please leave a like as you walk out the door. I do thank you very much for watching this game. I will probably have a bite of lunch, and then I'm probably going to try to get the third game in as well between these two teams. And, of course, we still have, and don't forget, Tony, got the Mets and the Astros tonight. That is still scheduled and will still be played in a big game in the 1994 restart. Until then, everybody, thank you very much for joining for this game. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time here on Payoff Pitch Baseball. Robert from RJL 518. Live long and prosper, and have a good day, everybody. We'll see you later.